Welcome back, everybody. This is Three Questions Podcast. My name is Cam King. This is episode number 28. And I want to thank everyone who has recently submitted questions. I just got a bunch of them. I am working through some fresh new questions, and we'll work through those on individual podcasts. I've also been lining up some guests to appear and share their 2 cents, people from different backgrounds with different expertise. And hopefully you guys can start gleaning more information from not just me. I try to do the best I can with questions. Some of them I really have to look into. Some of them I have to think about. Others, I'm just ready to go right off the cuff. Again, I'm not trying to upset or offend anybody with my answers. I'm trying to be pretty unbiased and forward thinking as I can. I'm really open-minded and, pretty much on the fence with just about everything that I do and how I feel in general about the world right now. But this podcast, seeing more listens, seeing more downloads, it's really, really enthralling. And I want to start bringing in more guests to share more information for you guys, the listeners. And I really appreciate you listening. But before we dive into the 3 questions for this episode, I just want to thank Howie Hecht from Ads Sciences. That is adssciences.com. Howie has been an integral partner for me in my own personal endeavors of getting more clients, running social media campaigns. And he's a great resource for anybody that's looking to get the word out about their business. I've referred him a number of clients over the years. He's one of my Boston friends, and I love what he's doing. He's just such a great intellectual guy. So if you're listening, check out adssciences.com. Again, that is adssciences.com. And you can email Howie directly from there. They run all sorts of social media campaigns, whether you have a product, service, business, brick and mortar location, or just some sort of digital website service where you're trying to get products out in front of the right people in the right audiences. I've never met anyone better. That's all I can do for them. I'm sponsoring them because I recommend them so much up to episode 50. So I'll give them a shout out at the beginning of every episode. So check them out when you can. Now, I want to jump right into the questions. We got some good ones here, and I'll set my timer. So let's go. Question number 1. What is the best book to read if you're looking to get into sales? I think I'm going to give you 2 answers. The cliche book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And there's an updated version called How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. And there is nothing in that book that you haven't heard before. But there is a lot in that book that you probably have forgotten or have stopped doing for whatever reason, right? Like keeping your chest up when you walk into a room, smiling when you walk into a room, saying somebody's name 3 to 5 times in every single interaction, listening twice as much as you speak. There are so many good points in that book about how to sort of put your best foot forward. And it's just timeless advice, okay? It's not necessarily one book that you need to read, but I think that's the best book because all sales is interpersonal relationships, okay? What you need to know about sales is people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Last, if they need you, that will always get you the sale too. If they need you, right? Maybe they don't know you, maybe they don't like you, maybe they don't even trust you, but they need you. They're still going to do business with you. Not a great way to build a legacy company, right? You want to get to know people. You like them, they like you, trust, all of those things, okay? So I will say How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age by Dale Carnegie is probably my number 1 recommendation for anyone looking to get into sales. However, the book that impacted me the most in my sales journey, in my advertising career of, what has been 15 years working in marketing and advertising now. So I'll say my favorite book is something called Rainmaker. And I forget who the author is, but I remember reading this book. It's a relatively short book. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon, but holy cow, Rainmaker talked about how to just break the ice and how to sort of break the inner complex about the story that you maybe tell yourself. There's also a book called The Stories We Tell Ourselves by Stephen something. That book is also awesome. So if you're listening, pause this, go find that, The Stories That We Tell Ourselves, and How to Write a New One, I think, is the full thing. Those 2 books are amazing. Rainmaker just talked about the sales process and how to keep leveraging your clients to get new clients and how to have other people sell for you, right? All sales is trying to get, right? If you're only doing outbound sales, you have to make a lot of phone calls, emails, networking, whatever. But eventually, if your product is good, if your team is good, if your company is good, people start coming to you, and that's known as inbound marketing. And I think whatever you're doing, whether you're a salesperson for a company that you like or a product that you love or an entrepreneur, you have to be doing and creating things or representing people that are doing and creating things, that you are an advocate for yourself. If you don't believe in that product, that service, that company, you are going to be a terrible salesperson, number one. So a couple books there for you to sort of get into and read for yourself. That's as far as I'm really going to go for that one. But How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age, Rainmaker, and The Stories That We Tell Ourselves, and How to Write a New One. So go check those three out, add them to your book list, please. And okay, let me stop my watch, go to question number 2. Question number 2 is, with artificial intelligence on the rise, how can we all calm our nerves from losing our minds? Number one, I'll say this. I personally think right now artificial intelligence is awesome. I think we're about to experience a paradigm shift in the way that our world functions, not only from a societal standpoint, but having tools that get us so much more done in a shorter amount of time, I think is amazing. It's also pretty terrifying, right? But losing your mind on anything, especially something like artificial intelligence, which is completely out of your control, is pretty. I would recommend against losing your mind on anything, simply because you don't get to choose what happens all the time, but you do get to choose how you want to react to that said thing. Okay. So you always are in control of your reactions, unless it's, some sort of body part, but like what happens to you is so different than how you can choose to react to a situation. Okay. And losing your mind to artificial intelligence shouldn't be a primary cause of concern. I don't think we're approaching a Skynet situation, right? A Terminator type situation yet. I don't think we're quite in the matrix as maybe some people out there in the on the internet appear to think. But I think artificial intelligence is a really cool tool, and I don't see much of it to be feared quite yet. I know some executives are warning against it. Elon Musk has said a bunch of stuff against it. Hey, there's concerns there. But I do generally trust in humans as a species to find a way to curtail it, right? To put a sky on it, or to put a limit on it. But I don't think that it's going to run rampant or out of control. I don't see that coming. I don't get that feeling. And I think it's going to be a tool that does better the world in a lot of ways. Okay. Even as Orwellian as our, world and country and some cities and states appear to be, I don't think artificial intelligence is going to impact us in the way that you may be prefacing this question with just yet, if that makes sense. So I don't think there's much to fear there. I would encourage you to keep using AI. Don't be against it. Don't be anti-AI, because it's very much going to be a part of all of our lives very soon. Not so much from like a cybernetic perspective, but I think from a resource point, you being able to access information, produce things much faster, that's going to bring a massive change to the world. And I do generally believe that's a good thing. So how can you calm yourself? Meditate, understand it's completely out of your control, try and embrace it, try to learn it, try to use it for good yourself. And if you can use this tool for good, so can other people. That's all you can do. That's all you can control. So just do that. No reason to lose your mind just yet. Okay. I'm going to stop that, answer that question there, and jump to question number 3. For you, what is the best environment for getting work done? Music, podcast, dark room? I will say, whether you're a morning person, afternoon person, or even a night person, I tend to get more done between the hours of 6 to 11 at night than any other time. I used to be an early morning person. I was very creative in the morning. Used to get up at like 3:30, 4, and I would work, 2 or 3 hours till 6. And then I would almost go back to bed sometimes, or I would just continue my day and just have to take an afternoon nap when I was doing more entrepreneur type stuff. But I'll say this, right? For me, I find that video game music, which is actually designed not to break your focus, is the best music for me. So I'll be a total nerd right now. I'll tell you this much. I will put on the Assassin's Creed soundtrack, or the Halo Combat Evolved soundtrack, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo ODST. Okay. I will go Halo Reach. I'll put on all of those soundtracks and I will do some work to it. I also listen to movie soundtracks. So for instance, the Batman Begins soundtrack is amazing. The Dark Knight soundtrack is incredible. Hans Zimmer is awesome. Martin O'Donnell, the guy that directed all of the Halo game soundtracks. Those soundtracks are incredible. Go on Spotify, search video game, whatever video game you want, Call of Duty, Battlefield. All of these video game soundtracks are designed not to break your focus and allow you to lock in. For me, that is a way for me to get stuff done. I also need a clean room. Okay, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I have plants, a flag, a bunch of to-do lists, a bunch of shit on my shelves over there. And if I have a clean room, I'm able to work way better. So if you work in an office, if you work in a co-working space, if you work at home, make sure your space is clean. Because when you have a ton of stuff that is unorganized, like I have a lot of laundry on my bed that I need to fold and clean, yet I'm here doing a podcast, it distracts me, right? It talks to me. It says, hey, this is out of order. Hey, this isn't, this needs to be taken care of. That's another to-do list that's taking up a certain percentage of my brain space. And when I find that I have a very minimalist environment, when I find that things are clean, when I find that things are wiped down, when I find that things are organized, I'm able to think that much clearer and I'm able to focus. Okay. I see a lot of people that like to get bigger screens and then they work in totally trash backgrounds. I don't know how they do that. It's very individualized for everybody. I cannot listen to other people. Like I can't really listen to music with lyrics or podcasts when I work, right? I know some designers are constantly like listening to books or podcasts or whatever, but for me, it's either deep house music, video game music, or a movie soundtrack that I have to listen to. Every once in a while, I will mix in some classic piano, some really light, soft focus. I very rarely listen to metal when I work. I find that I love metal, but I find it to be a little bit disturbing for me. But overall, you need to figure out what works for you. And I would recommend that you try video game music from whatever your favorite video games are or were. Try to look up some stuff there, find something that you like. And when I need to really just dive in and disappear, I find that the hours slip by when I am doing that kind of stuff. So that's all I got. I answered 3 questions. All of them were about 3 minutes each. So relatively short podcast here. I'll get this up. Just to let you know, listeners, I am disappearing for work for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, in June to July. So I will be there. I may have to take this down for work. I probably will. So there's going to be a little bit of a disappearing thing. So if you're listening to this now, don't freak out. We'll be back on when I can, and I'll try to get a bunch of stuff recorded up and going ahead of time so that it continues to post while I am away for future endeavors as well. Other than that, please check out adsciences.com, adsciences.com. Again, email my friend Howie, see what he can do for you. Totally worth a free audit that he does. I cannot recommend him enough. I also revamped my website, ckcollective.co. Go and check it out. Whether you want personal coaching, we're talking about business, life, whatever. I have a lot of clients doing that. I am happy to help there. I also have a CMO for hire product. Okay. Always down to help out. That's a one-time fee and you can book as many meetings as you want. Current clients, please go to CMO for hire and hit me up. You can book a time. My schedule is updated there as well. And I just launched a new store. So I launched an e-store, an e-commerce store on ckcollective.co. You can find that on the main page or in the tab. I think it's just under e-store right now. I have a name for that and I'll tease you, but the name is called Artemia, and I haven't really published that yet. So I will get that up. More stuff to go. There's wall art on there. I'm making a ton of really cool stuff, designing a ton of really cool things. And I know that there's a huge market for the things that I'm developing and making. I have a whole business plan and strategy for that. So very excited. Please go check that out. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening. This is episode 28. My name's Cam, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.